Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to speak of a mighty power, a power so great that it can transform failure into triumph, fear into courage, and doubt into absolute certainty. It is the power of positive affirmations. You see, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The words you repeat to yourself, the thoughts you plant in your subconscious, are the architects of your destiny. Your present life is but the sum total of your repeated thoughts. When you tell yourself you are worthy, capable, strong, and destined for greatness, you are not merely speaking words. You are commanding your mind to forge the path to that very reality. The subconscious mind does not judge, it does not argue, it simply accepts what is fed to it. Repetition is the tool that engraves those affirmations upon the subconscious until they become part of your very nature. Speak them morning and night, with emotion, with belief, and with unwavering persistence, and you will find that you are molding your future with every syllable. Fear, that invisible enemy, thrives in the absence of positive control over our thoughts. But when you flood your mind with affirmations of faith, courage, and success, you crowd out fear. You leave no room for self-doubt to grow. You replace the thorns of failure with the seeds of victory. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, mere words spoken without faith are like empty shells. Affirmations gain their power when they are spoken with belief, when you inject them with feeling, when you repeat them not as a wish, but as a certainty. Faith is the fire that gives life to your affirmations. And it is not a one-day affair. Success bows to no man who is casual. Discipline is the price. The mind responds to what is repeated daily, hourly, with persistence and desire. The man who disciplines himself to affirm his greatness, his purpose, his resilience every day, soon finds the world bending to his will. There are no limits to the man who commands his thoughts. There are no boundaries to the woman who directs her mind. Positive affirmations are not idle phrases. They are the chisels with which you carve your life. Ladies and gentlemen, control your thoughts, affirm your greatness, and you shall surely become what you believe. Thoughts are the foundation upon which every success or failure is built. They are not simply fleeting ideas that pass through the mind. They are the very blueprint of one's reality. The greatest secret known to man is this: whatever you continually think about, you eventually become. It is not by accident that those who see themselves as capable, powerful, and deserving eventually rise to positions of greatness, while those who entertain thoughts of failure, inferiority, and weakness often find themselves shackled by their own limitations. Thoughts repeated and believed are the most potent forces shaping the direction of one's life. When a person affirms to themselves positive, powerful ideas, they are doing far more than merely speaking. They are engaging in the act of planting seeds in the rich soil of the subconscious mind. These seeds, though invisible in their beginning, begin to take root. Like the farmer who sows wheat and reaps wheat, so does the man who sows thoughts of success reap success. The subconscious mind does not question whether the thought is good or bad, true or false. It simply accepts what is continually presented to it. It acts upon it, directing the body, the emotions, and the external circumstances to bring about that which has been planted. Consider the man who repeatedly tells himself he is unworthy, incapable, or destined to fail. Though he may outwardly wish for success, his dominant thoughts are preparing him for defeat. The man who tells himself he cannot inevitably proves himself right. He will act in ways that sabotage his own progress. He will shrink from opportunities, believing he is not ready. His very posture, his voice, and his habits will align themselves with his repeated declaration of inadequacy. His mind will draw to him people, circumstances, and challenges that reflect the very image he holds of himself. Without realizing it, he is constructing his own prison, brick by brick, through the silent but powerful repetition of his own limiting beliefs. On the other hand, the individual who trains their mind to affirm strength, success, courage, and perseverance is steadily building the foundation of victory. Though challenges may arise, they will face them with the inner belief that they are capable of overcoming. Their repeated thoughts will direct their actions. They will pursue opportunity. They will persist longer than most, and they will attract to themselves those who support and believe in their vision. The mind, when saturated with thoughts of power and success, creates conditions that bring these very things to pass. It is as though the entire universe conspires to fulfill the dominant thoughts of an individual. The astonishing truth is that life does not deliver what one wishes for. It delivers what one expects, and expectations are built upon the thoughts one holds most often. A man who repeatedly tells himself he will succeed, that he is equipped with the abilities required, that he is deserving of all that is good, begins to expect success. He begins to anticipate favorable outcomes. His mind prepares him to act boldly, to seize opportunities, and to withstand temporary defeat. The repetition of positive affirmations shapes his self-image, and a man can rise no higher than the image he holds of himself. The mind is fertile ground, and it will grow whatever is planted within it. It does not discriminate between what serves you and what destroys you. The man who allows negative thoughts to dominate is no different from a gardener who sows weeds, neglects his field, and then curses the land for producing what he allowed to grow. The wise man understands that he must guard his mind vigilantly. He must speak to himself words of victory, courage, abundance, and perseverance, until those thoughts become so deeply rooted that they cannot be shaken by the winds of adversity. Thoughts that are repeated often enough become beliefs. Beliefs dictate actions, actions create results, and results shape one's entire life. The starting point of all transformation, therefore, is to deliberately choose the thoughts one entertains. Positive affirmations are the tools by which a person can consciously select and plant thoughts that serve their highest good. When a man tells himself each day, "I am confident, I am capable, I am destined for greatness," he is not simply reciting words. He is training his mind to believe in these ideas. He is conditioning his entire being to move in the direction of those affirmations. The power of this process is not understood by the masses because they underestimate the influence of repetition. Yet every master of success has known and used this principle. They have deliberately spoken to themselves words of power long before any evidence of success appeared. They persisted in these affirmations until their minds accepted them as undeniable truth. Once the mind accepts a thought as true, it begins to find ways to make that thought a reality. It sharpens perception, it ignites desire, and it influences decision-making. A man who affirms that opportunities are everywhere will begin to see them. A man who affirms that he is a leader will begin to carry himself as one. He will naturally act in ways that bring his affirmations to life. The creative power of thought is available to all, but it is only harnessed by those who make the conscious decision to control their thinking. Life is not governed by chance, it is governed by law. The law of cause and effect states that thoughts are the causes, and the circumstances of life are the effects. A man who daily affirms his power, his purpose, and his unwavering belief in himself is setting in motion the causes that will lead to the effects he desires. No man can escape this law, and no man can rise above his most dominant thought. Many live their entire lives unaware that they are affirming failure through the thoughts they habitually think and the words they unconsciously speak. They say, "I am always unlucky, and life delivers more misfortune." They say, "I can never get ahead," and they remain stuck in the same position year after year. They speak defeat into existence without realizing the power they hold. But when a man awakens to this truth, he can turn the tide. He can begin to deliberately affirm success, health, prosperity, and joy, and through the power of persistence, he can watch his life transform to mirror those very affirmations. The transformation does not happen in a day, for the mind requires steady, repeated conditioning to accept new truth. But the man who persists in the right thoughts, who speaks his affirmations with faith and conviction, will find that he gradually begins to embody those very qualities. He will attract opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with his new beliefs. His actions will become bolder, his decisions more decisive, and his results more remarkable. Thought is the origin of all achievement, and positive affirmations are the conscious expression of thought. When properly applied, they hold the power to reshape not only the mind but the entire course of a person's life. There exists a power so subtle yet so commanding that it determines whether a man rises to greatness or sinks into mediocrity. That power is the spoken word, repeated with belief and conviction. The power of positive affirmations. You may not see it, you may not touch it, but you live it every day. The words you whisper to yourself shape your destiny more than all the voices around you. When a man tells himself he is defeated, his subconscious mind begins the work of making it true. When a man repeatedly declares that he is not enough, not worthy, or not capable, his mind obeys his command and sets invisible barriers in his path. He sees closed doors because his mind has been trained to expect them. His own tongue has become his greatest enemy. But when a man takes command of his thoughts and deliberately affirms power, success, faith, and courage, he reverses the tide. He builds within himself a fortress no external force can penetrate. He does not wait for the world to believe in him. He speaks belief into himself. He tells his mind again and again, I am capable, I am deserving, I am strong. And though the world may not immediately bow to his words, his mind begins to align, his actions begin to reflect his affirmations, and his life begins to transform. The mind is like rich soil. It will grow whatever is planted in it. Plant seeds of fear, and you will reap hesitation, failure, and regret. Plant seeds of power, and you will harvest courage, progress, and victory. But the soil does not care what you plant. It only multiplies what you give it. The man who neglects his mind leaves it to grow weeds. The man who masters his mind sows his future with his own hands. It is not enough to speak words. Those words must be spoken with faith. Faith is the fuel that gives affirmations their life. Without faith, words are but empty sounds. With faith, words become a force that commands unseen powers to move in your favor. The man who affirms with belief becomes unstoppable because his mind accepts no other possibility but the one he has declared. Do not believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the work of a moment. The mind resists change. It clings to old patterns. It fights against new thoughts, but through repetition, daily, hourly, persistently, you can impress upon your subconscious the exact image you desire to become. Repetition is the price. Discipline is the key. A man does not become great by accident. He becomes great by constant, deliberate training of his mind. If you affirm your weakness, you will live in weakness. If you affirm your strength, you will live in strength. The words you choose, the thoughts you hold, the affirmations you repeat, they build the house in which you will live. Build wisely, speak with purpose. Declare your greatness until your mind and your world have no choice but to accept it. There is a silent builder working within every one of us. It listens to the words we speak to ourselves and quietly builds our future according to those words. That builder is our subconscious mind, and it is always working, whether we direct it or not. The man who understands this truth holds the key to his own success. Positive affirmations are not idle phrases. They are commands. They are instructions we give to this silent builder, shaping our character, our actions, and our destiny. When a man speaks of his power, his confidence, his determination, he is constructing the foundation of his success. And when he speaks of his weakness, his fear, his limitations, he is laying bricks in the walls of his own prison. The subconscious mind accepts whatever it is given. It does not argue, it does not resist, it simply obeys. Repetition is the tool that drives belief deep into the mind. What you tell yourself over and over again becomes the standard by which you live. Say you are strong, say you are worthy, say you are destined for greatness, and your mind will accept these as commands. Say you are broken, say you are incapable, and your mind will make that true as well. Faith is the fire behind every affirmation. A man who speaks words without belief wastes his breath, but a man who affirms his power with faith moves mountains within himself. He builds certainty. He constructs unshakable resolve, and he attracts success as surely as iron draws the magnet. It is through daily discipline that the power of affirmations is unlocked. One does not speak greatness once and expect the world to change. One must persist, morning after morning, day after day, until the mind no longer doubts, until the body responds with natural action, until success becomes inevitable. The man who claims victory through his words walks differently. He sees opportunity where others see obstacles. He faces hardship with the calm assurance that he cannot be defeated. His repeated affirmations have prepared him, armed him, and set him apart from those who surrender to fear. The spoken word is the first step in the creation of all things. To affirm greatness is to begin its creation. To affirm defeat is to begin its destruction. Every word matters. Every thought shapes the path ahead. Speak only what you wish to become. Speak it until you believe it. Believe it until you live it. There is a power available to every man and woman who desires to rise, a power so near that it is often overlooked. That power is the ability to command the mind through positive affirmations. What you continually say to yourself, you will eventually believe, and what you believe, you will inevitably act upon. It is not circumstance that holds a man back. It is his own repeated declaration of defeat. It is not luck that advances another. It is his steady proclamation of success. The words you speak, whether you realize it or not, are instructions to the subconscious mind. Speak weakness, and your mind will build barriers. Speak power, and your mind will carve pathways to victory. The mind does not question. It does not separate truth from falsehood. It simply accepts what is repeated with conviction. When a man says, "I cannot," his mind obeys. When he says, "I will," his mind obeys. The words are the seed, the belief is the soil, and the repetition is the water. If you plant seeds of fear and failure, you will reap a bitter harvest. But if you plant seeds of faith and strength, you will gather a life rich with success. No man achieves greatness by accident. He first builds greatness in his own mind, and the tool by which he builds is the affirmation spoken with faith. It is not enough to wish. It is not enough to hope. You must speak the words, believe them, and persist until they become the very fabric of your character. A man who repeats daily, "I am strong, I am focused, I am relentless," soon finds that his body, his habits, and his very life begin to align with those words. He is no longer hoping for success. He is expecting it. His mind has accepted his affirmation as law, and the mind will bend all effort to fulfill it. There is no mystery here. The law is simple. What you impress upon the mind through repetition becomes your reality. Guard your words, guard your thoughts, for they are the builders of your future. The man who neglects this power leaves his life to chance. The man who masters it shapes his life with his own hand. There is no greater influence on your destiny than the thoughts you choose to dwell upon and the words you choose to speak to yourself. The man who understands the power of positive affirmations holds in his hand the very steering wheel of his life. He is no longer pushed by the winds of circumstance. He becomes the captain of his own ship. You become what you repeatedly tell yourself. A man who tells himself he is weak will walk in weakness. A man who tells himself he is capable will walk in strength. The mind does not resist what is spoken to it with consistency and belief. It accepts, it absorbs, and it begins to act. Whether you speak success or failure, your mind will carry out your instructions faithfully. Each time you speak a positive affirmation, you are chiseling a new pathway in your brain. You are teaching yourself how to think, how to respond, how to behave. The man who disciplines his tongue to speak of victory is training his entire being to expect victory. It is through repetition that belief is born. It is through belief that action gains power. Positive affirmations are not idle statements. They are the tools by which you break the chains of fear and the habits of failure. They are the weapons with which you defend your mind against the attack of doubt. Every time you say, "I can," you are silencing the voice that says, "I cannot." Every time you say, "I am strong," you are drowning out the whisper that says, "I am weak." Faith is the bridge between your words and your results. If you speak without belief, your affirmations have no force. But when you speak with faith, when you declare your greatness with conviction, you set into motion forces unseen that work steadily to bring your words to life. The man who persists in affirming his power becomes that power. The man who persists in affirming his purpose becomes that purpose. The discipline to control your words and the patience to repeat them daily is the price you must pay. But the man who pays that price will find that success is not a matter of chance. It is the harvest of seeds he planted long ago. The mind cannot refuse a command that is given with faith, repeated with discipline, and burned into the soul with desire. Speak the words, build the belief, shape the destiny.